All right, guys, Wes here. Welcome back to the channel. So if you didn't know, Hogwarts Legacy is about to get new updates and features coming to the game. And according to the account on Twitter, they said that we were going to get those updates sometime this summer. Now, as soon as this was announced, this put the entire Hogwarts Legacy community on fire, trying to figure out what this actually meant. Are the updates something as simple as, like, let's say a photo mode, perhaps Quidditch added to the game? It's hard saying, but one thing is for certain, Hogwarts Legacy is getting bigger. And in this video, we're going to discuss how they plan on doing that. We have a lot to talk about today, so check the chapters for easy viewing and let's get into it. So the biggest update that we've had for Hogwarts Legacy came earlier this year when Avalanche Software confirmed that the PlayStation exclusive quests will be coming to other platforms later in 2024, but they also confirmed that they have new content in the works, which confirms some new content patches at the very least, but also potentially hinted at a paid DLC. Now, since then, the community has been theorizing about what exactly is in the pipeline for Hogwarts Legacy fans, as there are a lot of things that could be done when it comes to both free and paid add-ons for the base game. Now, one of the most requested features for Hogwarts Legacy that could very easily be a part of new content is a photo mode, which, funny enough, I've been an advocate of photo mode for the longest time. Like, during my pre-release coverage for Hogwarts Legacy, I was like, dude, we need a photo mode for this game because it looks all amazing. And the only current way to do a photo mode is by using an NVIDIA graphics card on the PC, using the NVIDIA photo mode feature. Out of all of the new content and updates that could happen for Hogwarts Legacy, I think this is the big one, and it's likely the easiest to implement as well. There is so much care and love put into the recreations of Hogwarts and its surrounding areas, so the fact that there isn't a photo mode in the game right now is almost criminal. Now, another heavily requested addition would be a NewGamePlus mode, which I'm actually surprised hasn't been a part of the game so far. This has been another big thing that I've been an advocate for. The NewGamePlus mode gives a little bit more replay value to the main story for players, especially for those that want more of a challenge, and if Avalanche added this mode in with some cool in-game rewards, the community would eat it up. In the same vein as NewGamePlus would be new difficulty modes. Maybe Avalanche could add like a heroic mode, just something that would make the combat much more difficult during your next playthrough and would take a ton of skill to complete. And honestly, just anything that gives us a bit more to do in this world would be appreciated. Now, as for some other updates and features that we could see added to Hogwarts Legacy with this new summer update, it's also possible that some new mini games and side activities will be added to the world. Perhaps some content that got cut from the base game like gobstones, or perhaps wizard's chests. It's believed that gobstones was at some point going to be much more integral to the core experience of the base game, possibly similar to how Gwent is a core part of The Witcher 3. But obviously, if you've played Hogwarts Legacy, you know that gobstones is more or less just an Easter egg, and there's a lot more that could have been done with it. Now, Quidditch is another activity that's essentially just an Easter egg right now because Avalanche Software chose not to include a playable version of this iconic sport. This is a part of Hogwarts Legacy that I felt was heavily left out, and it's reported that the reason for Quidditch not being into Hogwarts Legacy was due to the time constraints, as well as the fact that WB has a live service Quidditch game in development, and they didn't want there to be two different versions of the sport, especially so close to one another. However, that decision was made before Hogwarts Legacy became the best-selling game of 2023, so it's very possible that something has changed, and the higher-ups are now much more open to the idea of Hogwarts Legacy having its own version of Quidditch for players to enjoy in a single-player fashion, as opposed to the upcoming Quidditch multiplayer game, which will surely have its own set of mechanics for the moment-to-moment gameplay. Like I've said for a long time, having a playable version of Quidditch in Hogwarts Legacy would be an absolutely awesome thing, and I know I'm not the only one who would love to be able to play against other NPCs while I play as my original Hogwarts student. Now, this is the part where things get pretty interesting, as this could be our first big teaser that something pretty big is happening with the game, whether that just be a big summer update or a DLC added to the game. Now, as a part of the first anniversary celebration, the official Wizarding World website put out a ton of insane stats regarding the player base for Hogwarts Legacy, but they also snuck something in at the very end that has me really curious. According to the stats, over 877 million potions have been made, over 5.2 billion dark wizards have been defeated, 783 million stealth attacks have been executed, 1.3 billion plants have been harvested, and just so on and so forth. All of that's really cool, great, interesting, but that's not the part that I want to talk about. At the very bottom of the page, they said, and that's all in 1 year. Where will the next 12 months take us, we wonder, but for now, let's celebrate Hogwarts Legacy's first anniversary in the best way possible. I'm sorry, you do not put those words at the bottom of the screen if you didn't plan on giving us something pretty substantial. Is it a teaser? Is it copium? I personally think that there are definitely some big plans in the works to keep people playing Hogwarts Legacy for another year. As for what exactly that will be remains to be seen. Now, there's one question that a lot of fans have been asking regarding Hogwarts Legacy is, where is the Hogwarts Legacy documentary? In late 2023, Avalanche Software revealed that there was a full-length documentary in the works about their blockbuster game titled The Wizardry Behind Hogwarts Legacy, and while it was originally slated for a 2023 release, it is still not released and we have no idea where it is. While it's totally understandable for something to get delayed, especially when it's connected to Avalanche Software, who really take their time with everything they do, it's a little strange for the documentary to basically just have disappeared into thin air without any official word from the developers or from Warner Brothers. We know the film didn't get canceled because their trailer is still only a few months old, and they wouldn't have canceled something like this so quickly after revealing it, but it's not like that gets us any closer to actually figuring out where it is. But what if I told you that Avalanche Software might have taken a page out of Peeves' notebook that he threw off the shelf and there's a bit of trickery at play? What if the reason the documentary has been delayed is because it actually spoils some of the new content or possibly DLC in some way? This documentary has been in the works for quite some time now, but we only ever got official confirmation of some kind of new content earlier this year. What if the DLC being planned for Hogwarts Legacy is being built on stuff that was originally made for the base game but had to be cut? This could explain why the documentary has been quietly delayed, because if Avalanche was originally not planning on making any type of DLC, they were probably unconcerned about showing things in the documentary that didn't make it into the final product. However, now that they're going back and using unfinished gameplay assets, or perhaps just new content is being made for the DLC that the documentary showcases, the documentary would then kind of serve as one giant spoiler for those unreleased mechanics or gameplay features, meaning it would make the most sense for them to hold on to the documentary's release until that new content is added, or at the very least is officially revealed. Now at this point, I'm giving Warner Brothers and Avalanche Software a few more months to confirm that a paid story expansion or some type of DLC is in the works before I once again give up hope on it. More specifically, I'm expecting a confirmation to come during a Summer Games showcase, assuming the thing is real and general. Now if I had to pick a showcase to watch specifically, I'd put my money on the PlayStation showcase that is likely going to happen somewhere between May and July. Sony has worked on several marketing deals with Warner Brothers in the past, and Hogwarts Legacy even had a decent amount of PlayStation exclusive content, not to mention there was an entire PlayStation State of Play for Hogwarts Legacy. So it seems reasonable if we are to believe that we are getting some sort of DLC or trailer for the DLC during the next few months. It'll likely be at a PlayStation event, as opposed to just being a random trailer drop or something like that. I would say that it's going to be at Summer Games Showcase, but we all know how the Game Awards went. So again, I'm betting on something to happen at a Sony showcase, or they just announce it on their YouTube channel. Now, the Warner Brothers CEO has once again commented on a lot of new Harry Potter content coming in the near future. The WB CEO recently confirmed that the new HBO adaptation of the 7 original books is going to debut in 2026, and since Hogwarts Legacy is still largely responsible for the revival of the Harry Potter IP over the last year, I think there's a very good chance that the Warner Brothers CEO wants the show to debut relatively close to either the reveal or release of the second Hogwarts Legacy game. We know a sequel is in the works, but a release window hasn't been confirmed. Personally, I'm thinking 2026 or a 27 release date would be realistic for Avalanche Software to hit that deadline. And sure, the first Hogwarts Legacy game was in development for an absurd amount of time, but the first game also laid out a great foundation for the sequel to jump off of, meaning Avalanche doesn't have to rebuild game mechanics from scratch this time around. So it's safe to assume that the sequel won't be in development for nearly as long as the 2023 game, but even still, is 3 to 4 years enough time to get a massive game like Hogwarts Legacy 2 ready for release? Avalanche Software have greatly expanded their workforce since the first game's release, but will that be enough time to get the sequel out in time to cross promote with the new show? Personally, I have absolute faith in Avalanche Software to make something great, but I also know that they need to be given room to cook, so hopefully WB doesn't get too greedy with Hogwarts Legacy 2 and doesn't try to force something out the door for the sake of a quick buck, instead of allowing the team the time and space they need to make a proper follow-up. Well guys, that's gonna wrap it up with this video. Do you think Hogwarts Legacy DLC is actually happening? And if not, what new updates and content do you think would be added to the game to hold us over until the sequel? Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section. Make sure you're subscribed with your notifications turned on so you're not missing out on any future gaming news. And until next time guys, this has been Wes, and I will talk to you in the next video.